Remember this guy? Yeah, sorry for bringing back your sleep paralysis demon, but for those who are unaware or blocked it out, this is the King. He's the mascot for the fast food chain, Burger King. Or at least he was. He's not anymore, I guess because Burger King didn't want their brand to be associated with horror movie serial killers. But back in 2006, when the executives were still smoking crack, someone thought it would be a good idea to make not one, not two, but 3 Xbox exclusive video games starring the plastic-faced Permasmile, and sell them exclusively at Burger King restaurants.
And I needed them, or so I thought. When these games came out, I was 6 years old, and I had an Xbox, and something told me, yes. So I begged and begged and begged my mom for them, and eventually she said, fine! And I did indeed get all 3. Which wasn't really hard, considering not only were these sold at Burger King restaurants back when the food was actually edible, but also these were available for only $4 a pop. How can you say no to that deal? Easily. But my tiny child brain was convinced that these games would be absolute classics that would go down in history as landmark titles in their respective genres, and I needed to play them. Eventually, they did find the tumor in my head. I dropped these games pretty quick, but they've remained in my collection ever since, serving as ever-present curiosities and always remaining in the back of my mind. I've had these games for, good lord, almost 20 years now, and I figured it might be interesting to take a look back at them and see if they might have anything worth going back to. And before you ask, no, I am not eating Burger King for this video.
Back in the day, the one game of these 3 that I was the most interested in was Sneak King, and to this day, I think that's the one most people know about. I mean, how could you not? It's a stealth action game where you play as this thing delivering people's lunch. Yes, you are the king, and as such, it's a fucking horror game. Are we that surprised though? So the gist of this game is that you have to complete various challenges centered around delivering delicious Burger King meals to hungry citizens who have the narrowest fields of vision ever. You all need to see optometrists. This game also reveals the frightening fact that the king can read minds and knows when people are hungry. And that is when you must spring upon the unsuspecting masses with food they probably didn't want, either just by sneaking up behind them or by jumping out from a hiding place, which gets you more points, but it's harder to predict when they'll be near one. The most unbelievable thing about this whole scenario is that you surprise them, and they're happy. They're overjoyed, which I don't know about you, but if I was just minding my own business at my workplace, or God forbid, my own backyard, and I turn around and see this fucking thing handing me a plate of chicken fries, I think I'd shit my pants. There's 4 levels, each with 20 challenges to clear, none of which will give you much trouble, unless you decide to go for the A rank. Doing that, the challenges range from pitifully easy to fuck you. It can get especially infuriating because you don't know where the NPCs are going to go. Oftentimes, you'll think you'll know, they seem to be going straight for a hiding place that would make perfect sense from a game design perspective, but nope! So you have to know these NPCs' movement patterns inside and out, but sometimes that won't even help, because depending on the challenge, the NPC's hunger could be randomized, so you'll have no way of knowing who will get hungry next, making routing next to impossible. And I actually put the effort in back in high school and completed this game 100%, getting every single achievement. I must have had literally nothing else going on. And you know what I got for it? A sneaking suit. Whoa, like in Metal Gear Solid? No. It's just the king's normal outfit, colored all black. Is it just me or does he kind of look like a pimp? So yes, I have played this game before. I already knew it was bad, but the other games I haven't touched at all since 2006. And I'm about to ruin that bliss for the sake of content. Pocket Bike Racer. Who the fuck is this? Well, it's Brooke Burke, of course. Don't act like you don't know. It's everyone's favorite Burger King character. Brooke Burke! Why is she the biggest character on the box art? Tits. Going into this game, I was just expecting a bog standard racing game, but one thing I was not expecting was 60 frames per second. 60 FPS in this game. That was not listed in the nutrition facts. I mean, it's not a stable 60 FPS, it dips fairly often, but the fact that they even tried is admirable to me. Anyway, as you'd expect, it's a racing game on tiny bikes. Your guess is as good as mine. One thing that I actually really like about this game is its approach to items. Passing through these cone gates fills up this meter on the right side of the screen, and as it fills further and further, you get better and better items. But it also doubles as a boost gauge. You can press the B button to boost, which will consume a little bit of the meter, or press the X button to use an item, which drains the meter completely. It's a decent little system with some risk and reward elements. Aside from that, we have the same 50, 100, and 150cc circuits that Mario Kart has made standard, and the first cup I played featured 5 tracks: a Burger King parking lot, a neighborhood reminiscent of the one in Sneak King, the King's Garden, a construction site, and Fantasy Ranch, filled with giant food. You like those tracks? Good, because that's all you're getting. This is a racing game that only has 5 tracks in the whole thing. The original Super Mario Kart had 20 tracks, and that came out in 1992. Yes, it was mostly just variations on the same themes, but there were 8 themes, all remixed wonderfully. Here, the tracks are tolerable at best and construction site at worst. Think the other modes offer more variety? Nope. It's still just the same 5 tracks with no changes, even across all 4 modes. Standard race is exactly what it sounds like and easily the most fun. Hardcore race is just racing with items turned off. Ultimate cone trial is just seeing who can drive through 20 cone gates the fastest. And Battle Royale is the worst of all because you're supposed to land hits on enemies 6 times on the exact same tracks that are intended to be driven around linearly. The result is not fun. This is bottom of the barrel trash, and the fact that I can play as subservient chicken doesn't change that. I actually had a decent enough time with it at the start, but once I realized that the game would just have me playing the same 5 tracks over and over again, the enjoyment quickly wore thin. I can only enjoy this minimal amount of content for so long. Big Rigs has more enjoyment than this. But Big Rigs doesn't have Brooke Burke. Well, after that sour experience, my expectations for Big Bumpin' were pretty low. I mean, we're 2 for 2 so far, so we gotta complete the hat trick with 3 bad games, right? Well, I gotta be honest. As I played Big Bumpin' and felt compelled to keep playing Big Bumpin', I had the realization that this game is actually kind of fun? Sounds crazy, I know, but let me explain. This time we got a party game centered around bumper cars. All the same people from Pocket Bike Racer are included here, along with just, like, people. Like, there's people who are Burger King employees, and then there's also just, like, average Joes? Why are these people here? Anyway, we got 5 game modes to choose from here, so let's start with the shittiest and work our way up. At the very bottom of the pack is Own the Puck, where all the players are asked to hit a puck, which will make it glow their corresponding color and gain them points. Sounds fairly simple, but all it results in is every player swarming the puck in a vain attempt to own it for as long as they can. It's complete chaos and not the fun kind. Not much better is Power Surge, where you have to go to these little glowy spots to grab an electric charge, then move it to a deposit point, but each bump and hit you take from other players will deplete the energy gauge and potentially take it all away, and it is very easy to get surrounded. It's just lame. Shock Ball is essentially hot potato. One player will be given a charged ball that will explode when the timer runs out, but bumping into other players passes the ball to them, so it ends up being an actually decently fun game of tag. It's actually not bad. Also not bad is Last Man Standing. This is bumper cars as a blood sport. Ram into your opponents and try to drain their health or knock them off the platform for an instant KO. This game is insanely frantic. Matches are usually over within like 10 seconds. This is the kind of chaos I can get behind. But easily my favorite game mode is Bumpin' Hockey, which is exactly what it sounds like. 2v2 hockey in bumper cars. And it is way more fun than it has any right to be. It's got speed, it's got unpredictability, it's got power-ups that shake up the game and keep it interesting. It has just the right amount of bullshit to make you feel slighted, and just the right amount of skill required to make you feel like an absolute god when you score points. Just like the best Mario Party minigames. And the great thing is, basically everything in this game is unlocked from the start, apart from 2 bumper cars that only offer a cosmetic difference. So you can just boot it up and get into a match relatively quickly. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually kind of recommend Big Bumpin'. It's nothing groundbreaking, but if you have a good group of friends together, you could have a pretty fun time with this. It might be worth adding to your party game rotation, even if only for a little while.
So yeah, Big Bumpin' is surprisingly pretty okay. But the other 2 games, not so much. I don't know how to end this video.